Yeah, buddy. I love it.
Awesome. We're going to get started. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I have some things to say as always, right? Here we go. Oops. Awesome. Okay, so welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for taking your time tonight to listen in on this. I'm going to share a screen. So it's going to be visual. It's going to be me. Maybe I'm going to yell a little at some point. No, I'll try not to yell. Yeah, hopefully it's going to help at the end of it, right? So it's going to be on recruiting. It's going to be on rank advancing. If you have any questions, please at any time put them in the chat. I'd love to touch on those right away. And by right away, I mean at the end. I will touch on those at the end. But I do want to make sure that the questions get answered. So I will leave some time at the end for questions. If you're watching the recording, you can always send me a message if you have questions and you're watching this after the fact. So welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Is it anyone's first call? I would love to know in the chat. I love when you brush your hair and wash it. People say nice hair. I think that's nice. Little effort goes a long way. When you brush it and it looks good, people take notice. I love that. But yeah, if it's your first call, my name is Sarah, for those who don't know me, and I don't normally brush my hair. No. People take notice when it's down, I guess. Thank you, Mandy. I do feel it's nice. Okay, so when it comes to, oh dear, it is someone's first experience. I apologize in advance. I am ramped up tonight. Like it's been a day. It's been a day. So you're gonna get a time. Well, let's start with recruiting. I always, and the first thing I put is the problem is not resources. The problem is not resources when it comes to recruiting, especially on this team. Like we have so many resources, so many guides, so much. We talk about it so much, I feel, but not just that. You can literally log into your back office and you can get resources there. There's a podcast there. And most of the time they're talking about recruiting because that's what they want people to do. The problem is definitely a lack of action. Maybe the problem is a lack of belief. I really believe, not so much the action. And if you're thinking you don't need more time, you don't need the right things to say. I always get like, well, what should I say? Just be a human. That's good. That's a good start. We're going to get into that. But you don't need the right things to say and the right time to say it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need help with talking about this. I really believe that. There isn't the perfect thing to say to recruit the perfect person, that's for sure. And I definitely hear excuses like I need a warm market that supports me, or I need to be doing this better or longer before I can ask people to join me. We're going to go over all those myths, misconceptions, and straight up lies you've been telling yourself. But why do you think, I don't know, why do you keep thinking that those are what you need to succeed? I have no idea, and I'm not sure who told you that. But it's definitely not true. Those thoughts are keeping you from succeeding, but they're also keeping you safe. And so that's probably why we keep thinking them, right? And it's just our general human nature thing to not let us leave the comfort zone. So I think that is normal, but unless you intentionally take action, and this is what I sort of want to talk about tonight, and unless you intentionally take action, regardless of your thoughts, that is how we succeed at this, especially in this season. I've been thinking about this the other day. There are a lot of people who've gotten here and who have rank advanced by accident, and that is so awesome for you. That is so awesome. But to rank advance in this season, in this day and age, in this time of the market, we need to intentionally put in effort. That doesn't mean that there is no success to be had. It means that you can't be passive about it. It means you can't be wishy-washy about it and be like, oh, it is what it is. It'll happen when it'll happen. No. It won't happen. Not if you intentionally don't put, you have to put effort, and it has to be consistent. And I'm going to talk about that because it can still be messy. But the first thing that you have to do in order to recruit, in order to rank advance, and I love that I kind of mash those two together, and then I can kind of start using the word recruit right with rank advance, because I feel like we need to bring that back. The first step that you need to do right now, tonight, before anything else, is to decide that's what you want to do. Really, that is the first and foremost and most important thing. And I've talked to reps before. I'm like, I need to hear you say it. I need to hear you say it. I need to know what you want, because I've dragged people in this business. I'm not doing that anymore. If you don't want to rank advance, that's fine. And I'm so happy for you that you are where you want to be, and that's perfect. And you do you, and I love that. However, there is success to be had. There's places to go, and there's definitely more, not only financial impact that you can make, but also that impact that you can show others. And I think that's the best part. So yes, you have to make a decision, and it is a decision. It's a decision you make every single day because of that intentional effort that you will need to put in. I'm not talking hours and up all night and working like, ridiculous amounts. No, really, at the end of the day, it's not that much more time than you would normally put in. It's just the fact that we have to do it intentionally. And I think that's super important. So you do need to make a decision. And I hope that your decision is that you want to rank advance, that you want to recruit, because I feel like, and I'm going to go over that in depth. I feel like it's the place to be right now, especially with the market, especially with, the increase in prices. It's worth it to recruit, to grow a team, to grow residual income, to rank advance, to do all of that. And it's doable. If this is your first call, God forbid, but a little bit about me. I did sign up for the discount. And I have had several messages over the last few days saying, what is the benefit of signing someone who's a discount rep? You're looking at it. You're looking at it right here. The benefit of signing someone who's a discount rep is that they get to decide one day they're going to work their business, or at the end of the day, that those people's purchases help with your group volume. So it helps you get to a rank. And sometimes, and I was talking to Allie about this, there are a lot of times where the discount reps on your team are going to be what makes and breaks your rank, because they're going to help you get to the next rank by putting in those 25% purchases, because the group volume gets to where it needs to be, right? So keep that in mind. So I did sign up for the discount, and I worked it shortly after, but I also said no. Who else said no the first time someone asked you? I said, hell no. Girl, my overflowing plate was like a mess. It was a shit storm over here of just chaos. There was no way I was adding sales, something I had no interest in. So it was a hard no. It was immediately no. And it was no, I think, even the second time. So keep that in mind too, when you hear the no's and when you are talking about this with people who you think could benefit from it, right? But rank advancing takes intentional effort. And I hope you wrote that down. If you've rank advanced in the past, like I said, by accident, I think that's great. However, I don't think it's the season for it right now. I really don't, unless you are, a recruiting machine and you're growing your team like crazy. And it's just, you can say it was by accident, but really that's an intentional thing. Rank advancing takes consistent and intentional thoughts. And I wrote that down, underlined it. It takes consistent and intentional thoughts. Okay. That is so important, and that is key, especially, when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to rank advancing. I think the intentional thoughts are what's so important. But it's 100% possible to do so, whether you want to rank advance, whether you want to recruit. Really, they go hand in hand together. It's possible for so much more for you and your business, more for you and your paycheck, your team, but you get to also impact more lives, right? You get to impact more lives. And I think that's why I love talking about it so much. And I get that question a lot, is like, well, how do you not sound pushy or salesy, or, how do you not make it about you? Well, because I am sitting on something that can help someone else, that can impact their life, that can change their situation. I went to 2 kids' extracurriculars today. I was not able to do that 3 years ago. Right there. That is huge for me. As I am driving to people, and I am swearing all the way because it's a rink, but they get to go to extracurriculars. They get to do sports when they didn't get to do that before. So that's huge right there. Okay. So I will always talk about it. And I love this part. You can have zero belief. You can have zero belief in yourself. You don't have to wait for that. You don't have to wait for that to grow. You can have zero belief in yourself, and you can still start to have conversations with people. And if you are waiting for this like growing why of like goosebumps and I don't know, jelly beans and tears, it might not come. And that's okay. You can have zero belief and you can still start to have conversations with people because it's not about you. Because you can say, hey, I think this would really benefit you right now. You're wearing leggings. It's totally up your alley. You would love this. Okay, you can have zero belief and you can continue to do that. You can continue to have conversations because I can tell you this, the more that you have conversations with people, the more that you talk about it, that's the belief. That's where it grows. That's where it happens. Okay, that's when that belief grows. And if you're looking for belief and you're waiting for it, you can still have it or none of it. And you can still start talking about it with people, right? And I think that is super important to keep in mind because I know a lot of people wait for their belief. But it also helps to know what you're talking about and who you want to share this with and, you know, that sort of things. When I think about recruiting, I think, why do I like Zaya? Why do I like it? The extracurriculars, driving my kids to extracurriculars, like that never gets old. And I will continue to talk about it. And that story resonates with so many people. But you also, it helps when you're trying to recruit, when you're trying to rank advance, it helps to know what you're asking people, right? What are you asking people when you say, hey, do you want to do this? What is it that you're asking them, right? Make sure that you know so that you know how much value you're sitting on, that you know how much value you're speaking of. Why do you like Zaya? What does it bring to your life? How has it changed you? Those 3 questions, like you could literally, again, you can have zero belief, but it has affected you in some way, whether it's the discount, whether you have, new clothes, whether it's this amazing community, whether it's the financial benefit and you were able to whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter, but asking those 3 questions I find helps because then it clarifies things for you and you can just start talking like a human to these people and you can be like, hey, my kids, they're in sports. And this is so exciting because they weren't in sports before. So share these things when having conversations with people and that resonates with them, especially if you're going to share on your stories, or I always share on the stories or stuff like that. You never know who it resonates with and people will send you a message and be like, geez, I had no idea. I think that's awesome. Tell me about it. Tell me, what is I? What are you doing? What are you selling? You are all sitting here and listening because and this is, I think this is awesome, whether you're watching the recording or not. You're sitting here, you're listening, you're here, you decided yes to this at one point or another. Hopefully no one has coerced you. Usually that's my thing. But you took a chance on yourself and for yourself. And this is something for you. And I think that's so freaking awesome that you guys all did that. And how often do we do that? Not very often. You probably had guilt about it too. But what has it brought to your life because of that, right? Share that with others because their hesitations are probably very similar to yours. And I think that needs to be shared about for sure. I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I have huge belief in myself. Try to say that with a straight face. I do. I have huge belief in myself and this business. And I do well with it. But it's because I had zero belief and I shared the crap out of it. I started having those conversations way early and it created a huge belief in myself and in this business and in this brand and in this compensation plan and in my team. It's created this amazing belief. I do well with this because I speak from my heart though. Okay. And I share from my heart. The fact that I hear this so much, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be pushy. The fact that you think that makes me know that you're not salesy or pushy. It makes me think that you need to speak more from your heart of actually, oh, well, I like Zaya because it makes me think and know that this is why you need to share from your heart, right? It means you are wanting to, come and be authentic and you need to give yourself permission to do so. I don't know why we hesitate and I don't know why we sound like robots sometimes. I sell leggings. Just talk, just have like a normal conversation, right? I think that's super important. Let's talk a little bit about messy action. I love this. So messy action and intentional thoughts, those 2 things are going to be magical when it comes to rank advancing. Magical. If you are waiting to get it perfect, if you are like perfect graphics, perfect timing, perfect whatever, it's never going to happen, ever. And it's going to be very messy. whether you're recruiting or rank advancing, it doesn't matter. Messy action is always the best action. And intentional thoughts, okay? Intentional thoughts and messy actions makes the perfect combination to success. Okay, so write that down. Messy thoughts. No, messy action, intentional thoughts. It's so important. Think of your first party. And if you're just new, that's fine. But think of your first party. And if your first party is happening right now, you're going to laugh because in 6 months, your parties are going to be different. You've pivoted, you've tweaked them, you've made them work better, you've done different things. And you're like, why, how, why did I do them like that? 85 posts, was I completely out of my mind? Like, what were we thinking? Right? It's just first party to now, you're just like, oh, that was so gross and messy. Okay, that's what I mean. Messy action though. And it worked. It worked. Right? In order to rank advance, in order to recruit, it's got to be intentional thoughts. But messy action still creates belief. That's the best part. And I think that's what I was really good at. Messy action still creates amazing belief. Okay, I'm going to try and share my screen here. I did turn off Facebook. It would have been a nightmare. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, let's try that. Sure, I guess you can see my back office. That's awesome. Stand by. I was going to show that to you, but just not currently. Okay, stand by here. You guys can't see any of these screens that I'm closing. That blows my mind. Okay, cool. Sorry, this was all supposed to be really like, there, look, we're good. We made it, right? Can you all hear me and see me? No?
Yes.
Thank you. It's like, someone, please. Awesome. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to try and, again, move things you can't see, I don't think. Oh, geez. Okay. So why build a team? I had to put this visual for you, for sure, because I felt like this was so important. Why build a team? And it really comes down to the community, the financial benefit, the discount on clothing, the residual income, the personal development. I think that is so, so, so important. Okay, let's talk about the money. And this, I saw this once in a training and I needed to redo it. And these are all in US numbers, but we get paid in US funds. So it's going to even out. So let's say you sell, $1,000, you earn $280 US, right? You sell $1,000 a month, you earn $280. You have 10 reps that sell $1,000 a month. We're talking level 1 reps. You make 375. So you earn 655 as a director, but obviously you're going to earn more additional downline volume. And it's going to be more than that. And that's all in US. Let's look at Zaya Exact. So you sell $1,000 a month. That's $330 because you get more commissions. You get 33 as opposed to 28. And you have 100 level 1 reps that sell $1,000. That's $6,000 in downline volume just from those 100 reps. So you're earning $6,300 plus additional downline. So that would be quite a bit additional downline volume. I think the actual numbers were more like 10,000 because 100 level 1 reps requires you to have a pretty deep and wide team. So let's look at this. This is always amazing to me. You sell $1,000 a month. You still get $330. You have 500 frontline reps. They sell $1,000. You make $41,000. And then you earn an additional 41,000, right? Like as additional downline volume. And then obviously if you're a Zaya Elite, you probably have more like 2,000 reps. And this is the payment from 500 successful reps that you help, get to be successful. You sell $1,000 a month as a presidential. You have 1,000 frontline reps. It's 82 grand a month. These are monthly pays. This is possible. So, and I don't want you looking at these numbers and thinking, this couldn't be you. Why not you? And the story that you're telling yourself is really the only thing that's keeping you from succeeding. Obviously presidential, and we're going to look at these numbers. Presidential is not something you can just intentionally make happen in 1 month for sure, but it's 100% doable. So these are the representative qualifications. So if you looked at this chart before, it's, you know, sometimes it's overwhelming. I get it. I even still help reps to this day. I'm going through everyone's numbers about 3 times a month to kind of see where everyone's at. And if you're close and like, okay, you know, if you do this, then this is what you're going to, you know, you're going to hit whatever. So I'm always doing that. So you don't have to worry, but you still should learn your numbers and learn your team's numbers for sure. As a enrollee, so you sign up to be a Zaya rep. Technically, you're not a rep until you sell $200. Well, that's on top of it's technically it's one item because you already get 145 when you sign up, right? So you don't need any reps to be a rep. That makes sense. Your total group volume here only has to be 200. To rank advance, you do need to recruit. You do need to grow a team. However, this is the best part. You can sign one person up and they can do amazing and you can make it pretty far. You can go probably to director. I've seen teams of 2 to 3 make it to senior director, but that's no fun. And it sort of puts a lot of pressure on those 3 people. Instead, when you recruit more, it spreads the amount that you require through so many people. And it's just a lot easier and it's just more fun. So to get to junior rep, you need $600 your reps need to sell $600, whether that's 1 rep, 3 reps, 2 reps, it doesn't matter. They need to sell $600 in total for you to get to junior rep. The same thing is to be said for senior rep. They need to sell $1,200. Okay. And then the total group volume has to be 2,000. So that means you'd need to sell 800, right? Or they need to sell more than 1,200 to make. So as long as those total group volumes, I know that's very confusing for some people. It's like, why is it different than what your downline volume is? It's because those are the downline volume limits. Like those are what, you know, for instance, when Jana signed Carla, I will give you very specific instances here. When Jana signed Carla, I would often have group volume pushing 10,000, 20,000, but my first level volume might have been only 5,000 or 2,000, right? So it was a much lower because it was actually people that's, you know, were signed by other people that were creating this huge group volume. So that's why I love this company actually, because we are not going to just get a paycheck from just having people sign people. Instead, we are going to make sure that the people that we signed are taken care of. The people that we signed are successful at this, and the same thing goes down the line, you know, right from every level needs to make sure that the people they sign are doing well at this and succeeding and you know, reaching their potential. So that's why the first volume is there, the first level volume, which I love. So currently I'm at Zaya Executive. So you guys know that we need a total group volume of $100,000 a month. We also need 4 first level directors. And our first level volume needs to be 3,500. Our first level volume is usually around 30 to 35 grand. So we're pretty good there. We don't have to worry about those numbers. And in order for me to get paid at Zaya Exec, I need to sell $600. Okay. So as it goes further, right, like the next step would be 250,000 group volume. And then of course it goes up and up. As it goes up, it gets a lot harder. Double Zaya, we need 7 directors on this team. And unfortunately, they have to be first level directors, which is fortunate for all the reps that I sign. I help them, you know, if they want to get to director, I think that's awesome. Let's do it. And they can succeed there. Again, first level volume goes up. And as you can see, it gets a little bit more challenging as you go up, right? You know, $5 million in group volume, that's a pretty large team, like 20,000 reps. So just keeping those in mind, of course, when you hit those ranks, this is the pay, this is the compensation plan, and this is so important to keep in mind. When you sign reps, guys, there is now such a thing as the moonshot bonus, which means that in the first 2 commission periods, which is technically 2 months, but in the first 2 pays, so whether they get paid, you know, whether they get signed up at the end of the month, it doesn't matter. Their first 2 pays, if they reach senior rep, they get an extra $250 US bonus. So it's so important and something that we've kind of not that we've ignored, but I think we've been in maintain mode for so long. We've been in sustain mode for so long that we haven't really looked at rank advancing team wide, but it's not just, I was talking to Katie Harlan about it. It's not just team wide, it's really company wide. So we have to get back to the basics here and help our reps who are just signed up to try and get that bonus. It's so beneficial to them, but it's also beneficial to the team to get to senior rep. Within the first 2 months, you get the 250 plus the 75 plus the 50, which is great, all in US. So these are the bonuses right here on the right when you get to the different ranks. The first 6 come with a gift as well, I think. Yeah, the first 6 come with a gift. Executive is a purse. Senior director is a beautiful robe that can clothe your whole family. Director, I think, is flowers, massage, I don't know, massage, and then there's other things. I'm not really sure. Bracelets for the first few. I don't know. I'm sorry. I suck at that. But yeah, there is some gifts. When you get to double Zaya and above, they pay for your flights. You get flight fare for the trip, the executive trip. So you don't give gifts up here anymore. Anyways, but we can go over that. As you can see on the left, though, the personal sales commissions, it pays to grow your team because you get more commission. You get more commission when you have a downline, regardless of whether that downline is working or not. You know, it doesn't matter because you get the 25% plus the 8%. So that is 33% commissions as opposed to 28. Okay, and then obviously as you go up the ranks, you get more percentages on your downline. Just the more you help them succeed is the more you succeed, and the compensation plan reflects that. So I don't think we ever took a look at that. Okay, so why build a team? Or why, I don't know what it says because I have things over top. So why aren't you? Sorry. Why aren't you building a team? You know, growing residual income, sharing this amazing business with others, taking advantage of the incredible personal growth that leading a team helps with. And what is stopping you? I mean, because I'm telling you, you're capable, you are worthy, and you can do this. I think that's so important, and something to that comes back to that messy action. It comes back to that intentional thoughts. People think a lot of things. They have a lot of thoughts when it comes to growing their team or rank advancing, and we're going to kind of touch on a few. I guess the reason number one that I hear is I'm not a leader. Or it'll sound like something else, like, well, I didn't sign up to grow a team, or I didn't sign up to recruit, or that basically means they feel they're not a leader, right? It's whatever way they want to say it. That's what it means. But if you care, if you think I'm not a leader, that's all that's needed. Because the fact that you think you aren't one tells me you're exactly the leader we need on this team. And you can lead in so many ways. And I don't care if you have 1 rep, 50 reps, no reps, you can be a leader on this team. Okay. And to be a leader is just to do the thing and to be positive and to kind of take our pillars and sort of encompass them. And I'm not talking Zaya pillars, but there's something about this team. It's about positivity. It's about inclusion and kindness. And we're just, you know, we motivate each other, and you don't have to know the person, and you don't have to be financially benefited from them by motivating them. You know what I mean? They don't have to be on your downline. I see so many people sidelines, like motivating each other and like, oh, you know, someone's going for a goal, let's do this, you know, and checking in on them and going live on their VIP page. And like, it just goes across. I won't start because I'll just won't be able to stop. But there are so many amazing leaders on this team. And I think that reason for you not to grow your team, thinking that you're not a leader, it's just you're holding yourself back. And I think you think that you have to be this certain thing, but you don't. All you have to be is positive. All you have to be is, you know, just kind and uplifting. And there's so many people on this team that are just naturally that way. I think it's amazing. I definitely did not think I was a leader. I know that might shock some of you, but definitely not. I've never really been a leader in any of my other jobs. More like someone who gotten written up a lot, say what I mean, sure, but never a leader per se. I would never explain myself as that, but I definitely became one over time. I continue to question how and when I'm supposed to lead, but instead, because whenever I stop and think, like, what am I supposed to do now? I actually have this written on my, had this written for a while. I don't know if you can see it. Allow people to step up in their leadership. And then how are you allowing others, you know, to step up and shine? I think that's so important. And I ask myself that a lot, but whenever I feel like I'm failing, and I feel like that a lot, and that's okay, but I continue to just I do the things that I think I would need as a leader, and then praise, you know, those two things, I think you can't go wrong. So if you were on this team, you are already a leader. You know, if you want more from this business, then the time to step up is now. And you can do this 100% because there's so much help. I think this one comes a lot, you know, I didn't join early enough to be successful. Oops, sorry. Everyone does this their way, for sure. And there are some who come into this business and recruit right away. I mean, there's some on this call that did that. They came right in, they started recruiting, and they soared through the ranks, and they just, you know, they found their groove right away. There are others who join and they don't even tell anyone, including their own husband. And then I don't know if she's on the call or not, but then they slowly decide they are worthy enough to go after what they want, you know, and that's almost 3 years in. Honestly, there's no one, like, there's no one way to do this business, but when you signed up, it doesn't dictate how successful you can be here. Especially, I think there are a lot of people who sign up and they don't do much for the first little bit because they're overwhelmed, or maybe they just don't know how to start, or everything has to be perfect, or it's not the right time, or you care about what your friends think, or whatever it is. But when you signed up doesn't dictate how successful you can be here. I am too new. I love this one too. I'm too new and I don't know enough to recruit. Well, sorry. I'm still learning. And trust me when I say that I had no idea what I was doing when I signed Heidi up, or Melissa, or Julianne, or Jody, or Lois even. I mean, Lois taught me a few things, I feel, and she continues to. But the best part is now that there are so many systems in place, right, on this team. You don't need to know all the things, truly. The onboarding emails are amazing. If you ever want to see them, if you've signed up after the fact that there was onboarding emails and you want to see them to see what your reps are getting, or the reps that you're trying to recruit get, send me an email and I will send you them so that you know exactly what is coming to them, because it's amazing. Like, they get one every day for 5 days, and then they get one week in, and then 2 weeks in, and 3 weeks in, and 1 month in, and 6 weeks later. Like, it's amazing. And it really, step by step, it helps them. I feel the groups, the guides, the trainings, and then there's this team, and then there's these people, and they're so helpful. In every group chat that I've ever been a part of, it's like someone asks a question and it gets answered. You know, it might not be instant because sometimes it's 11 p.m. and you guys all know I'm in bed at that point, but you know, then it's answered. And there's so much support here for your new rep, but also for you and your business, and for you stepping into that role of leadership. There's help for you too. You're not all of a sudden expected to know all the things. You still can ask those questions to me, to your upline in the group chat. Like, at no point do you sign a rep and then you're like, oh, well, you're on your own. Good luck. No, it's like, we're a team here and we stay a team, and your people are in our team too. And that's the best part. This one was a hard time. I don't have enough time to recruit or build a team. And there's definitely a lot I could say, but if you want residual income and for this to be something significant in your life, you will have to make time. We all get the same 24 hours. We all have overflowing plates. I don't feel that you need a lot of time. I feel that sometimes when we pick up our phones and we do things, it's like we're doing all kinds of things that aren't actually moving our business forward. Sometimes we're scrolling, sometimes we're perfecting graphics, sometimes we're doing whatever. When it comes to actually growing our team and recruiting in order to rank advance, I don't think that that's a lot of time. I do think that it does require that messy action, and it does require those intentional thoughts, but in terms of hours in, I don't think it takes that much, especially because there's systems in place. Right? So keep that in mind. If you want to get to a place in your life where you're, you know, whatever your goals are at in terms of financial, or, you know, whatever that looks like, just know that the best part about this business is that it doesn't have to be equivalent to hours in. I think it's just that intentional effort. I don't want to come off. Yeah. First of all, you need to figure out why you want this. And I touched on this at the beginning. Doesn't have to be this big, juicy reason. And I tell people that because sometimes my reason comes off so intense, right? I mean, I've cried about it on calls before. And you're like, well, I don't really have that. Well, that's okay. Putting money into savings, paying off debt, spending money on getting your nails done, buying flowers. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever you get out of this, whatever you love about this, you also have to realize that there are people out there who want that as well. Okay. And they want that coupon that could help. And I've said this before in a training, and you're sitting on that coupon. You literally have this coupon that you could share with others. And why aren't you sharing it? Why aren't you talking more about it? Especially if people are wearing activewear and you're noticing that they're wearing activewear, right? Or maybe there are people in your life right now that are struggling, right? Things are expensive. Gas is expensive, right? You are sitting on something that could impact their life. I feel like just a conversation, a human transaction conversation, I feel like that goes a long way. Fear of rejection. This is funny. And then I say, I feel like this doesn't apply to me. I have failed. I failed so many things. So many things. This is my website picture for my fitness website that I put out and put a lot of money into, and put all my eggs in that basket. I was a Zaya rep at this time and wearing Nike from head to toe. So don't come at me thinking you're not doing this right, or, you know, you didn't start right away, or you didn't do all the things at the beginning. I sucked, clearly. But I also felt like this was what I was meant to do, and it wasn't. It was way too hard. It was a fail. I hit rock bottom for sure. So when it comes to this fear of rejection of this coupon that I'm offering people, or this business, or this, you know, the discount or whatever it is, I don't feel like that rejection has any effect on me because I've failed so much in the past. But I also know in my heart what I'm selling and what I'm sharing. And I know that this opportunity does change lives. And if you don't know that, take a look at our team, go through the people, go scroll, look up videos. Like, this opportunity has changed people's lives, and it will continue to do so. So I feel like coming at it in a different way is the key to not feel that rejection or allowing those no's to bother you, because they don't bother me. I do not lose sleep over them. I actually, in fact, think that sucks. But I know that they're going to come back at me in 6 months or in a year when they continue to see me share this, or continue to see me, wow, you know, do something. And they're like, geez, man, so like, can we talk about Zaya again? Like, yes, we can. So a lot of those no's are hesitations. A lot of those no's have nothing to do with you. A lot of those no's will come back. So keep that conversation going, but don't at any point get this fear of rejection. And I hope that's not holding you back from succeeding at this. I love this one. Fear of failure. And I really do. I've kind of dived into it. I did a few TED Talks over the weekend, apparently. I got all into it. But I really feel this is a fear of shame. And the more I thought about it, because I don't really think that I have the fear of failure, because I don't, like, even like when Krista asks me something and I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you know, if that doesn't work, like, maybe we should like have a plan B. I'm like, there is no plan B. Like, I don't even have that in my mind. Like, there is no plan B. So for me, fear of failure didn't really make sense. But then when I looked at it like this, fear of shame, I was like, okay, now I can kind of understand what people are kind of feeling, worrying about, you know, and not wanting to feel that shame or be embarrassed. Everyone hates to fail, but for some, failing presents such a significant threat. You know, their motivation to avoid failure exceeds their motivation to succeed. I didn't realize that it actually held people back because they didn't want to fail. So it's like me saying, hey, if you want to hit director, you should make it known. You should say to your team, hey, I want to hit director, but you don't want to do that just in case you don't make it. Because then it's like, what about if I don't make it? Like, what if I don't make it? Like, well, what if you don't make it? You still have to make it known. It's like this timeline that you're on, you still want to hit it, don't you? Like, the fear of failure causes them to unconsciously sabotage their chances of success. Are you hearing this? That is terrible. Stop it. That fear of failure causes them to unconsciously sabotage their chances of success, because then you're not putting it all out there. Because then you don't want that fear of shame, like thinking, well, what about if I don't make it? I don't want to be embarrassed. It's this toxic emotion, because instead of feeling bad about our actions, which is guilt, or our efforts, which is regret, shame makes us feel bad about who we are. I was like, geez, I was like in that TED talk too. And I'm like, that sucks. That sucks. But there is no shame in trying. And when you try and try again, that is the bravest thing. Like, it really, truly is. When you try again, that is so brave and something to be so proud of. I remember there are key times in the last 3.5 years where I literally had to make that thought of like, I got to try again. Like, oh, frig, I didn't make it, or I came so close. And well, okay, I'm on to the next thing. But there's also key times in the last 3.5 years where someone didn't make something, and they had made it known, and they put it out there, and they worked towards it, and they had to, that first of the month came around. It's like, oh, frig, that sucks. That sucks. And you just kind of like, you got to make a decision, right? You got to try and try again. And I think that's so brave. So if you are going after a rank, especially if it's, a kind of on a time crunch before the end of November or whatever, I really want you to not worry about the fear of failure. I want you to put all your eggs in that basket. I want you to intentionally have those thoughts of like success. I want you to believe that you're going to make it. And I want you to put messy action in. You know why? Because I think that is key to success. That is key to actually doing it. Because if you keep feeling like this, it's going to constantly have you like hold back a little, and you're not going to put it all out there. And I think that's so important. This over here is a picture of me in 2020 with my team numbers. And I was so freaking proud. At the beginning in January, there was 2, 3, 5, 14, 26, 30, 47, 61. That's crazy. Okay. And I just had no idea what I was doing, but like, I was so excited. And then there was other pictures on here. Yeah. I mean, I know Carla missed the last month or last year, she missed 3 by 2,500 by 1 rep. And she got up the next morning, I remember, on the 1st, and she went for it that month. Like, she went for it again the next month. Like, it was just, I don't know, like that to me is just crazy. Brienne here, who we know, she missed Zaya Executive by, I think it was $1,200 or something ridiculous. $1,200. She missed it, and she didn't get to go on the trip to Hawaii, and she had to make a choice to continue, the next day, and to try again and be brave. And she had put it all out there. And you know what? She did feel sucky about it. But when I talk to her now, she's like, I would have done it the same way that I did it then. I would have made it known. I would have put it all in one basket. I would have tried you know what? Because then like, you would have regret by not trying, I think. I know. You have to go after it. And I'm going to talk on that in a minute. But this business requires action and consistent effort for sure, regardless of what that looks like. So if you are going after a rank, if you are trying to recruit, if you're trying to grow your paycheck, if you're trying to create this residual income, if you are whatever, perfectionism will not work. It will not work, because that will hold you back. When it comes to recruiting, I think the first and foremost is to keep a list. Keep a list. And I'm going to actually stop sharing because yeah, I've got a couple tips here. The first one is keep a list. If you do not have a piece of paper with names down, I need you to go get that. I actually have this. It's right in front of me. I have a name. I write them in green when I just start talking to them, in black when they're like ready, or, we've talked about their hesitations or their objections or whatever. And anyways, it doesn't matter. You need to have a system. You need to write your names down, right? The best thing to do, especially if you're just started, if you don't have a list yet, I want you to do this. I want you to go through your people. Go through your people on your Facebook, on your Instagram. See who's struggling right now. Reach out to them. Right? But start a list, write their name down. That is so powerful when you write their name down and think, man, I have something that could help them. I have something that could impact their life if they choose to take it. Write their names down. So keep a list. That's so important. Potential rep list, and then funnel them in so that, like, you're having conversations with them and they're like thinking about it. And maybe they're like on the verge. It's like, oh, I'd love for you to start, I'd love, here's a starter kit, like, and kind of like do that call to action and just keeping them in mind, but also continuing the conversation, even when they have hesitations, even when they say no, objections, keep starting the conversation. I said the no the first time, and I know many of you did too. I went back and looked at my conversation, and I say things like this. I know this is something you've been thinking of. What is your number one fear in taking this chance? Like, talk to me. What is it? When you ask them and then they actually have to like speak on it, when they have to actually, and I usually do that in a voice text, but I do say, like, I know this is something you've been thinking of. I know you've been considering it. This is like the best starter kit that I've seen, although they've been all amazing. What's holding you back? Let's talk about this. What's going on? Right? When you have a conversation like that with someone, it means a lot. Okay. Instead of just telling them all the things, and like they're just kind of feeling like they're getting recruited, right? Have a conversation. Say, hey, how's it going? Right? Lean into the objections so you know what to speak on. I love that. Lean into the objections so you know what to speak on. I don't have the money right now. Okay, cool. I'd love to book you in for a party. Apparently in November, there's going to be amazing hostess incentives. I know we did a party a couple months ago, but I'd love to do one again. I'm going to do it themed. I'm going to do it whatever. I'd love your help in this. It'd be awesome if we could get you to whatever, level 2 or level 3. Also share about your story, right? Stories sell, stories resonate. Share about your story. Okay. And if you're like, what the heck's my story? Figure it out. What's your story? What did you pay? You're allowed to tell people like, hey, Zaya has really helped me. I tell my kid, I tell people my kids are in extracurricular. My kids are in Sylvan tutoring. My kids, and they weren't before. Okay. So those sort of stories, you guys have heard them all. I also say it like this. Hey, I've been on that side of the conversation. I get that there's a lot coming at you and you're not really sure what to do, especially in this like crazy busy season we're in. But I think coming up to Christmas, I think that this is going to be the most beneficial time for you. Have these kinds of conversations. I just want to make sure you know that there's benefit here for you. I know we talked about it. I just want to make sure that you know exactly what it all entails. Talk like that, right? Have conversations. I know you would get so much from this. I think you would be so good at this. I think you could really benefit from this. I'd love to chat with you more about it. Right? Just having these conversations. And who are you having the conversations with? Hostesses. You're having conversations with hostesses. They're going to get so tired of hearing from you pre, during, after. When they get all their stuff from their party, yes, hell yes, you're going to reach out to them and be like, yeah, so you got all your stuff from your credits. I know you didn't sign up using the starter kit. I'm a little butthurt about it, but I feel like you need to start saving up for that starter kit because you're going to benefit from this. You got some stuff from your wish list. That's awesome. But right. And if you think about how many hostesses you have, if we do 4, I'm not good at math and I'm not even going to attempt it, like 60 a year hostesses. That's just hostess conversations, 60 reps. Right. But what about in the parties? In the parties, let's say there's 10, 600 people. No, that's not the right one. No, I'm not going there. Anyways, there's a lot of people. You could talk to a lot of people about the rep opportunity. So if you're not talking about it in your parties, you need to start. And I actually start with that. Start with that. But also that helps them go right into the party, booking a party conversation, because you take the guesswork out of being a rep during the party because you're talking about it. And then you're like, these parties are the lifeblood of my business. Like, this is one of my favorite parts. I blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't help. I love to spoil the hostess with rewards, and, you go from there. So in parties, definitely share about it. But actually, who has checked out who's watching your stories? I did that the other day. First of all, creepy. But secondly, there's a lot of people who are watching my stories that aren't Zaya reps and that I've never spoken to before. But like, I go on there and then I'm like, oh, they're going to the gym. They're doing this. They're doing that. What the heck? I've totally missed my mark here. So I sent her a message. I'm like, hey, like, have you checked out Zaya yet? I know that you've been seeing my stories. And she's like, Ashley, I've been meaning to ask you. Okay, cool. So when they're seeing your stories, you can kind of screenshot that every once in a while and maybe use that list, right? So who's watching your stories, who's liking, who's commenting, who's, customers in your VIP, who's interacting in your VIP. Those are all people you can have conversations with, right? Look for people, like I said, who could be blessed by this income, blessed by this community. Look for people in your life. Look for people on Facebook, on Instagram. Just while you're scrolling, be like, hey, wow, yeah, no, she definitely. I'm going to add her to my list. But start having conversations and be a human about it. Okay, that's so, so important. Be a human. People need this. And I'm not going to get up on a soapbox, or I'm not going to cry either, but people are looking for what you have. If you aren't asking, the answer is already no. So you are already getting no's. So what is the difference between that and asking? I have no idea, because I ask. But if you aren't asking, you are getting no's already, and you're choosing that. That is a choice that you're making. Okay, so if you're worried about getting no's, you're already getting them. So many. So definitely put it out there, because people need this, especially right now. People are looking for what you have, right? People are resonating with what you're sharing. When they say no, ask them why. It's okay to sit, don't get all so butthurt when they say no. Ask them why. Hey, why? What's going on? You don't think you'll benefit from this? Could you see yourself doing something like this? What about the discount, right? Talk to people in real life. So voice text, get on a call with them. If you tend to have diarrhea when it comes to messaging on Facebook, ask them to just have a phone conversation with you, right? And then they can hear your voice. The voice text is good too. If you aren't recruiting or rank advancing after actively and intentionally putting in effort, those thoughts, that messy action, something is holding you back, and it's not lack of resources, okay, or know-how, especially on this team. And I was thinking about it the other day. I am so loving the fact that I think it's awesome that there's so many top enrollers on this team. I think that's great. And I strive for big things. However, I think moving forward, my thing that I want to be known for is this team having amazing rank advancements. I think that would be amazing to get people on board, to sign them up, and to have them hit junior and senior rep. Wouldn't that be amazing to have that success, right from the beginning? And yes, we've gone through kind of a year. It's been a year. I get it. But I think that the time is now, and that there's success out there for that. And I'm not going to lie. I might be the only Zaya rep who thinks that. But I think that you guys think that too. And that poll has showed me that you want more. And I'm like, why are we waiting? What are we waiting for? The by accident rank advancing? It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. We have to intentionally go after it. We have to intentionally have that messy action. And that's so important. I forget his name, Roger. You don't know who I'm talking about. Roger, in 1950 or 60, ran the 4-minute mile, which I had to go look at how fast that was, because I was like, how fast is this? It's pretty fast. I couldn't do it. And I can do a lot of things. He ran a 4-minute mile. He was the only man to do so. And before Roger, the doctors and people and researchers are like, no, the lungs would explode if someone tried to run that fast, or no, you would die. You would have a seizure. There's humanly impossible, until Roger. And Roger did it. And then the following year, 280 more people did it. Just randoms, right? Not Olympic athletes, just runners. And he did it. They did it because Roger did it, because it was no longer something out of this world. It was Roger did the 4-minute mile. I'm going to strive. I'm going to work towards. I'm pretty fast. I can do it. Right. And I always think back to that, because before him, no one did it. Not a soul ever. Not even attempted. Not even close. I'm not sure. Roger was probably a psycho when it came to running, but he did it. And the fact that 280 did it, people more in that year, that first year, and people have been hitting it all the time now. But I think that's awesome. And then I think it was in the 70s or 80s. I actually watched a YouTube video the other day. This guy, he was a Russian and he was a weightlifter. And I think it was, no one was able to do 500 pounds over their head. I don't know why not. It's not that much. But this Russian guy, he was super jacked, super big. And he kept failing at 500.4. And that was the world record. He'd get 499, he'd get 499 point whatever, and he would fail. Anyways, the trainers told him he was going out to do 499 again. You're doing 499. They just want to see it again, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, cool. So he gets out there and he's like, does his thing, chalk, blah, blah, blah. And he gets up and he pushes it up like nothing. And then he gets off the stage and people are losing their minds because he just broke the world record. But he had no idea. He was like, what? What do you know? And he went back and you could see in the video, he went back and looked and like added up the weights. He was like, you lied to me. And he kept saying that to his trainers, and the trainers like, yeah, damn right I did. That's the only way you're going to do it. And he went on to break more records because he did that once. And I just think that those stories of belief, yes, Max actually did tell me that, but those stories of belief are so impactful because you 100% can do what you believe you can do. But in that same breath, if you don't think you can, because you have that fear of failure, because you're not putting your eggs all in that basket, because you're holding yourself back because of fear of shame or embarrassment or whatever, you're not going to do it. You're not going to come close. But if you believe that you can do it 100% because you've done it before, because it's only 499.6, you're going to go out there and you're going to freaking rock it because you've done it before, right? So I think that belief, I think that example is just amazing. I freaking love it. But I just want to leave with you, and I will check the questions, but I just want to leave you with that if you believe that you can, and I know that me saying that, and you're going to roll your eyes to the back of your head, but if you believe you can, you can, but you have to intentionally have that messy action. You have to wake up every day and think, I'm going to do this. Yep, I'm going to do it. And like, it doesn't mean you have to have hours spent doing Zaya, because I know we all have life and overflowing plates, but if you actively think and intentionally have that effort and you do that messy action and you're like, I'm doing this. So I wanted to do this rank advancing and recruiting call because we have time. We have time before the end of the month. There's no panic. This is not the 1st of November, right? So there is time. So if you are hitting for director, I want you to rally your team. I want your team to recruit someone. Okay, I want you to help them get junior or senior rep, that new person. I want you to help your current reps get junior or senior rep. That is the only way that you're going to get to director or executive, is to help those reps, junior and senior rep, get to where they want to be, right? If you are a rep and you want to get to junior and senior rep, I would love to help you out. Okay, but the key is rank advancing. The key to rank advancing is recruiting, and you have to share this. You have to share this. Okay. So there is no one way. And obviously at the end of this training, you're like, she told us nothing, but there is no one way to do that. You have to have conversations with people. You have to share your story. You have to resonate with them. You have to talk about it. Hey, I think you'd rock this. Hey, have you heard of Zaya Active? Oh my gosh, you wear leggings. You need to talk to me. like you can be a human being and share this opportunity. You can be a human being and share this, because people need it right now, 100%. So lots of time left in the month. If you have big goals for November, you're in the right spot because our team is going places. Okay. I see so many of you, and I think I think you're in the same boat as me, and you're like, you're ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to rank up for sure. I'm just going through. Is there any questions? Yes, Lois Peters, that was you. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope the first timer didn't get too scared. But awesome. If you have any questions, even if you think about them later, you can always send me a message or a post on the team or in the group chats or anything like that. Okay. I want you to keep in mind that there's time left in this month. You can continually bring that messy action from today until the end of the month and get ready for November. There's a lot of reps wanting to do amazing things, and I am just so excited. I'm here for it. And I know that we can do it together. If we do it together and we just help each other, and you help the next person in line, that it's 100% going to happen. Okay. So amazing things coming for sure. Yep. Krista, you're right. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. I so appreciated this. And I thanks so much for showing up. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your night. See ya.